that is sort of part of the amazement of being here, and as you have experienced yourself, you've seen this amazing devotion, and you've seen this amazing serenity, and he's an enigma. He's said it over and over again. No one understands who I am. If you're a realized being, there's no way to understand this. And that has been, there's something very beautiful about blind devotion.
So he will eventually die.
Yes.
And you have a task beyond his physical death.
Yes, I do.
Can you describe it?
This is basically unknown to most people. There's only a handful of people, including yourself, that are aware of a couple of projects. First of all, Sai Baba is part of a triple incarnation. There was a great saint named Shirdi Baba who died in 1913. He lived a very secular life and was very few devotees, and mostly around Bombay. Shirdi is a town that they named after him that's 60 miles from Bombay. Shirdi Baba announced that before he died that he was part of a triple incarnation and that he would be born again in a village in Andhra Pradesh in the middle of nowhere, and that he would, at 14 or 15, announce that he was this reincarnation, and that this avatar or realized being and whatever would then die, and then a third would appear named Prima Sai. And so this is the lore. And at 14 years old, Sai Baba announced that he was Shirdi Baba reborn. And he started his first ashram in 14, and his first devotees, and it all began there. And he's been doing the same thing every day, which is this darshan coming out twice a day and moving among his devotees since that time, from this village, which is impossible to get to. And in those days, you couldn't even get here by bullock cart. Anyway, Shirdi Baba, it's very interesting because Shirdi Baba now has 100 million devotees as well. They have built temples to him all over India. They have built temples to him. It's almost like he's been brought up to this proof level of this strange, mystery. Temples are being built all over Indonesia. England has some. They're built in America. They're opening everywhere. And Sai Baba announced who he was. He rarely talks about Shirdi Baba. He has a picture of him in his temple, and he's referred to him a couple of times, especially personal things about his life and what he said or what he did. Nothing was ever written about him. No one ever met him. No one ever knew him. Very few people came in contact with him that could tell the story after 1913 when he died at an elderly age. Sai Baba's here. Sai Baba has announced that he will die at 96, which he did when he was in his 20s. He has also recently announced, I will go according to the plan. I can leave my body anytime I want. And then 2 years later, Prima Sai will be born. He has announced the area of India where he will be born, and it's part of this triple incarnation. It started with this saint that died in 1913. As far as the projects are concerned, I guess being Sai Baba's builder and his rock, his foundation man, his glue in a way, he has asked me, he called me in and gave me explicit instructions to build a vault for ancient wisdom that after his death, this is supposed to be the end of a third yuga or age, and this is the Kali Yuga. This is supposed to be the darkest time that man has ever been in. The mind-body experience is so overstimulated that the outward journey is the only journey, and we're looking for the transient things, the gold, the silver, the jewels, sensation, whatever out there, and as in practically the Tao and the Talmud, and you can go through every text, they all talk about this golden age will come, and when it does, suddenly the inward journey, and that there will be peace, and it will not be I and me as a consciousness, it will be we and us, and it'll be a collective, and this will be the golden age where we fell from the garden, we'll be brought back to the garden, and it's well documented.
Let me ask you specifically about yourself.
Yes.
When Sai Baba dies, not if he dies, but when he dies, would that mean a sudden void inside of you?
No, not at all. Hard to explain. I've been to Ramakrishna's ashram, who died in 1865, and I felt his presence there. I've been to Amarnath and Kadranath and the places where these great divine beings are supposed to be, and I felt their presence there. That which has never been born never dies. Ramakrishna, who died in 1865, had the unique ability to he had 12 disciples. He could give them enlightenment. He gave all 12 enlightenment. His most famous is Vivekananda, who did many writings and is very famous. But they never die, so these shrines remain, and they have devotees. There is a Ramakrishna temple in Bangalore that I go to on Bull Temple Road, which has about 500 people come every night for bhajans. He died in 1865. Mahana Maharshi, who lived in one of the most famous sacred spots in India, died in 1950. He has tens of millions of devotees that come to his ashram to just be near the vibration every day. People go to Jerusalem because they want to go to the sacred place where Jesus was supposedly born, and they go to Lourdes because this is where the Virgin Mary appeared, and it's a sacred place. They go to Mecca because this is the spot where Muhammad did such and so forth and so on. So it's a combination of folklore, spirituality, and super reality. So what will happen when he dies, because he is a great distraction, people come here, and about 7 or 8 million people a year come here now. And to me, he's a great distraction. That was what was the 15 years of not talking to me was all about, so that I would evolute. You're either here to evolute or devolute. And when this controversial character who says I'm a realized being goes, then the only thing that's left, as it was with Buddha, as it was with Muhammad, as it was with Moses, as it was with every religion, the only things left are the books. And the way people find their
Okay, so I'm wrong.
Okay, 09.
sound okay?
For
Yeah.
me, yes. Okay, yeah. What remained unfinished?
It's actually about 10 minutes.
No, there was the last sentence.
Yes, what we're
What did
talking
he say? He was talking.
Oh, about the ashram, what will happen after he goes.
Yeah, after he goes.
So the books are remaining, yes.
Yes, what happens again is in India they call it the Jyoti light is turned on. If you go back and look at all of these great masters, saints, holy men, whatever you want to call them, they never had devotees. Jesus Christ had 12. He said 4 of them didn't know who he was. The Buddha, who became enlightened after meditation under a tree for some years, had 5 guys. The first great avatar known in history through the Vedas was Lord Rama. He was supposed to be the first God-man on the planet, known God-man. And he had 12 rishis, or 12 great spiritual masters who knew who he was. And it goes on and on and on and on. They always just had a handful. Muhammad had a handful, and so forth and so on. So it's very unique that this guru in this modern time has all of these world devotees and world service organizations and all this going on. But it is, if you are not a spiritual person, it's very easy to say this is a bunch of bunkum, and if you are a Hindu, it's very easy to say this is our national treasure. But if you're a Christian, you can say this is these people go to burn in hell for eternity, and if you're a Jew, you can say this is an impossibility because it's a Jehovah only. And so you know, it's bizarre, but what I know will happen when he's a distraction. There's something called Maya, which is the delusion of the world. And those 15 years that he did not speak to me is because he didn't want his form to get in the way of my evolution. He wanted me to learn about the formless. And we sat there yesterday together and the day before, and what you see is people practicing duality. God's over there and I'm over here. It's so paradoxical because, in fact, all of Sai Baba's teachings, he says, you are God, I am God, you are the formless, I'm the formless, I'm nothing more than a reflection of you, yet the second he appears on the scene, it becomes duality.
What about you, your form? Let's speak of your form. Where will you die?
I will die here, more than
You're
likely.
certain?
Yes, yes.
And when? How will you die? How will you die?
I have no idea. I have no earthly idea.
But the state of mind in which I don't ask whether you are going to die.
Well, I hope.
Stroke.
Well, I hope that I'm evoluting to the very end and learning to the last breath and am energetic to the very last moment and in love with love until the very last moment that I die. That is my dream come true. Suddenly, 2.5 years ago, I came here and Sai Baba said, you stay here with me the rest of your life, out of the blue. I'd been coming here for almost 40 years. I have been here hundreds of times, 4, 5, 6 times a year. Whenever I get away, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days, this, that. I've done work for him, I've done this, I've done that. And suddenly he says, you stay here for the rest of your life with me.
And this is a certitude.
Yes.
Inside of you.
In fact, it was an honor. I'm the only Westerner that sits among his inner sanctums of basically very sophisticated Indians and of high power, spiritually or in other ways. I sit in the primary chair, on which, unless there's a guest who sits in front of me or next to me, you can't see anybody but me from sitting out there where you sit.
Are
he's
you
put
afraid of dying?
Having already done it once, I suggest it. I'm afraid of not meeting my destiny. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. I want to meet my destiny. You see, if there is such a thing as karma, which is the first law of physics and metaphysics, for every action there's a reaction. The fascinating thing is there's 2 concentric circles that are occurring during life. One is you are creating more karma, and at the same time you are destroying old karma. So this series of lifetimes, if you believe it, this existence is really a blink in the totality of the thousands of lives that I may have had. And in fact, I've been blessed to be taken back to many, many of these lives by Sai Baba through unique circumstances. So in my mind, and I'm not trying to convince anybody because no one's going to believe me anyway, this is a great honor. And shortly after coming and saying this is my duty to be with my master, it's a great honor. There are very few people, except for people running hospitals and this, that he's asked to stay and be here and be at his feet. I mean, he gets in and out of his automobile 2 feet from me, and he pays a lot of attention to me, and he's very kind, and he's given me a lot of instructions.
How does he call you?
Well, it was funny in the early days. In the early days, he used to make fun of me every time I would come, and I'd come up onto the veranda. He'd go, "Oh, look, everybody, it's Tigrett. It's Tigrett is here." And I just, like this. But he calls me Tigrett. He calls me Tigrett. And he's told everyone that this is my tiger, and he's very dangerous, and you leave him alone. And he's protected me from the politics of the organization and everything else. And it's
which might be Byzantine.
Which is as dangerous. It's like a medieval king in his court. They'll kill, lie, cheat, steal, get close to the king. It's human nature at its best. This is a microcosm of the entire world is here, which makes it so even more fascinating.